just label mentally deranged. Dream the same thing every night. I see a pyramid in my sight. No locked doors, no windows barred, no things to make my brain seem scarred. Sleep, my friend, and you will see the dream is my reality. They keep me locked up in this cage. Can they see it's why my brain says rage? Sanitarium. Leave me be. Sanitarium. Just leave me alone. Things into my brain, assuring me that I'm insane. They think our heads are in their hands, but violent use brings violent plans. Keep him tight and makes him well. He's getting better, can't you tell? No more can they keep us in. Listen, damn it, we will win. They see it's right, they see it well, but they think this saves us from our way.
What's up, college football fans? Bobby C here. We've got a special show in store for you, and I'm testing out this new system. I've got a deal where if you call into the show, and I'm going to post the number up here in a minute, I'm going to have a call screener, and you'll be able to hear the show while you're on hold. So we're probably going to have some glitches, so just bear with me. I'm doing this before the season so I can get all the glitches worked out. And we've got an Ohio State fan, Paul Jamison, coming on the show here in a few minutes, and go easy on him, guys. So while I'm trying to figure out how to get him on this show, y'all bear with me. Let's make a test. Are you there, Paul?
OH.
OH.
Hi.
I want everybody to give me some ones if you hear our guest. Talk to us there, Paul.
1, 2, 3, 4. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Give me some ones. Talk to me, Paul. Tell me about this Urban Meyer thing. I want you to tell the viewers of the Volunteer Roadshow. A lot of them think they know what's going on with Urban, but there's a lot of things that us folks down here in the South don't know about Urban. Kind of give the history between Urban and this accused, if you could.
Absolutely. I had a question for you real quick before we get into Urban Meyer. I'm watching you on YouTube Live. I'm not able to make a comment, though.
No,
Typically, I'm able to make a comment.
I don't know why. It might be because I don't know why. This is a trial run, so
Okay.
tell everybody.
Is anybody else making comments?
I don't know if you can make comments or not, but you might want to hit top chat or something like that. But speak up so everybody can hear you. They say they can hear you. Kind of give the history of this guy and Urban and how far back they go.
Okay. So at Ohio State, we had some pretty historic coaches. Woody Hayes is probably most popular. He punched a guy from Clemson after Clemson beat us, and I got fired. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. And then another famous coach was Earl Bruce. And so Earl Bruce has a grandson whose name's Zach Smith. And Urban Meyer, I'm going back a little bit because I figure most Tennessee and SEC fans don't know this, but Urban Meyer used to coach at Ohio State years ago, lower tier coaching. But Earl Bruce is who got Urban Meyer into the Ohio State years ago. And so Urban Meyer always felt indebted to Earl Bruce. And then when Urban Meyer got promoted essentially and got the head coaching job at Bowling Green, a MAC school, he actually had Zach Smith as a player, a walk-on, which I don't think it was talent. I think it was kind of a wink-wink. Your grandpa, Earl Bruce, got me into Ohio State. I'll get you, a little playing, little college football action. So that's where Zach Smith and Urban Meyer's relationship began at Bowling Green as a coach player. And then when Urban Meyer coached down in SEC, won 2 national championships at Florida, I honestly thought he was a snake, personally. He got Zach Smith a job down there in Florida, and then we all know the story. He couldn't beat Nick Saban and had heart problems and had to quit and go spend time with his family. And then he took the job at ESPN, which didn't make any sense to me because he says he needed to spend time with his family. So at that point, I didn't like Urban Meyer. And I was probably a little salty because Florida, coached by Urban Meyer, beat Ohio State in the national championship when our best player, Ted Ginn, got hurt after returning the first kickoff of the game. So anyway, Urban Meyer gets the hire down at Ohio State, and I never really cared too much for him, but my love for the Buckeyes isn't going to hold one individual back. So over the years, Urban's grown on me, and I definitely think he's a good coach. Off the field, I've always had my question marks about his character. And so this last week, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So this last week, things got interesting because Zach Smith got fired about 2 weeks ago out of the blue, right after Earl Bruce's funeral, which the timing of that, a lot of people thought, well, that's kind of interesting. He was the wide receivers coach. And then they promoted, who I actually am friends with, Brian Hartline, who's now the new wide receivers coach. So then they asked Urban Meyer at Media Day, Big Ten Media Day. I know you SEC boys probably weren't tuning in to Big Ten Media Day, but they asked Urban Meyer if he knew about this incident back in 2015 where there was domestic violence with Zach Smith and his wife. And Urban Meyer played dumb. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know who the reporter is that comes up with these questions, and just kind of completely lied about what happened because he was aware. So comes out a couple days later that Urban Meyer was aware of these incidences when all this proof came out of text messages and everything. So Ohio State immediately put him on paid administrative leave. And most people up until today thought he was for sure going to get fired. But then he came out with a letter today basically saying that he did lie to the media. I'm summarizing the letter. But he did go through the protocols back in 2015 to let the authorities know that there was an incident, so that NCAA-wise, he has no grounds for his termination. It's just, will the Buckeye Nation forgive him for his deceit towards the Big Ten media? So that's where we're at right now. Most signs are that he'll be back coaching the Buckeyes this upcoming season. There may still be a suspension in play.
I don't know what to think about it. I normally don't get political on my show, but I'm waiting to hear all the facts. I really don't know much about it. Driving this truck, I only hear what comes over the radio. But didn't you tell me something about Urban gave a eulogy of this guy's grandfather like 2 weeks before he fired him? Do you think that had anything to do with the timing?
It's awfully suspicious. There's a couple different reports. I mean, I think his relationship with Zach Smith was always about Earl Bruce. It wasn't because Zach Smith was a great quarterbacks coach, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It was your grandfather's an Ohio State legend, and he got me. Not only is he an Ohio State legend, he got me my first job. So I feel like once Earl Bruce passed, Urban didn't have to do that anymore. So that's one theory. The other theory is stuff started leaking about Zach Smith's domestic violence history, and just tried to get ahead of that by firing him. So those are the two camps on that. But yeah, he did speak, and Jim Tressel spoke too at Earl Bruce's funeral that was in the Ohio State's basketball arena a couple weeks ago.
Well, it's, they say it's not always the deed that gets you fired, it's the cover up, and I don't know if he covered it up or not, but like you said, it does sound suspicious. Let's move on to some football. Let's have some scenarios. What do you think the team's going to fare? How do you think they're going to fare without Urban Meyer? Who is this interim coach, and what's his background? What do you think they're going to do, even if it's just 2 games or even a season? What's that going to do to the team?
Oh, he was Day was recruited to coach at several SEC schools, and he turned down the offers to come be the offensive coordinator at Ohio State. He was basically running with Chip Kelly for many years, so he's kind of that high-powered offensive-minded genius. And he's going to be a great coach as he fills in the interim. We don't know how long he'll be filling in, but I don't think they'll miss a beat. We got our running backs are Dobbins and Weber. They're 2 of the best running backs in the nation, and we got both of them. And then our quarterback Haskins is pretty good. Our defense, Nick Bosa's, they're saying he's probably going to be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft next year. Top 2 or 3 pick, if not number 1. So I don't think they'll miss a beat. The problem is they have two tough games in September. They go on the road to TCU early. I think it's September 14th to 15th, 8 o'clock ABC game. And then later in September, on September 29th, they go to Penn State, at Penn State, which I think that's the biggest stadium. I know y'all up in Tennessee have a pretty big one, but I think Penn State and Michigan are the 2 biggest stadiums. And that place will be rowdy for a night game when Ohio State comes to visit. So those are 2 tough games early in the season. But I think they will have the boys ready. And, I mean, offensively, they're probably the most high-powered offense in college football. I don't know who's more high-powered than the Buckeyes. Our wide receivers are coming back, are solid. And the 2 running backs, solid offensive line, and a good quarterback. I mean, they're going to be good.
Well, I want you to change my mind on something. Early on, I had Ohio State penciled into the playoffs, but even before this Urban Meyer thing came out, I started wavering a little bit, and I want you to change my mind on something. Not only is Michigan going to beat Ohio State, but I've got them in the playoffs. Can you change my mind on that? I'm going to give you an opportunity. We've got a lot of... hey, look, Uncle Lou's in here, Pigskin Pete. We've got some heavy hitters on the show, so you might be able to convince me, but I doubt you'll be able to convince them. But tell me, change my mind on that. Michigan is going to beat Ohio State.
Well, I'll say this. I think it's a possibility, that they could. And I would say, I'm not a betting man, but if I would go to Vegas, there's 4 teams in Ohio State's division that could easily make the playoffs. Ohio State is the favorite. Michigan, they've just been so close under Jim Harbaugh. And people are trying to make Jim Harbaugh out to be a bust in Michigan. He's a great coach, and it's just tough. The Michigan has to play Ohio State at the end of every year. And the conference, that end of the conference comes down to that game. And so Michigan, Penn State, Michigan State, and Ohio State, any of those 4 teams can come out of that division. It's a loaded division. And I honestly don't know if any team's going to be able to run the table in that division. So I know as an Ohio State fan, I'm not some, naive, Ohio State's going to win it all every year. It's going to be a tough road to have to go on the road at Penn State. Later in the season, we have to go on the road at Michigan State. And what Uncle Lou and these characters, Law Tide, they live down here in the South. I live in Atlanta, Georgia, so I know what it's like to live in the South. But when you go on the road and it's 31 degrees and it's sprinkling rain,
hold on
snow,
just a second. Hold on. Let's back this train up just a little bit. We're not going to get into this thing where you still think the Big Ten's better than the SEC. That sounds like where we're headed. Is that what you're trying to say?
This upcoming season, Big Ten, the Ohio State side of the Big Ten is way better than the SEC West.
Really?
There's no question about that.
I'm
Penn
listening.
State, Michigan State, Michigan, and Ohio State. Ohio State and Alabama are washed. They're equal. And then you got Michigan. Who's the second best team in the SEC West? LSU, for crying out loud. Mississippi State. Auburn.
I just don't see how you can say that.
Well, the Big Ten. The Big
I'm
Ten
listening, though. I am listening.
Year.
I'm chuckling, but I'm listening.
Okay, the Big Ten got screwed last year. They got 0 teams in the playoff, and the ESPN/SEC, whoever's calling the shots, the college football playoff committee, they put 2 SEC teams in there. So I don't like that. The last time Ohio State played Alabama, it was embarrassing. Ezekiel Elliott ran all over the king of the SEC. Law Tide, I don't know if he remembers that, but Ezekiel Elliott and our 3rd-string quarterback, not our backup quarterback, Catfish, not our backup quarterback, our 3rd-string quarterback, and Ezekiel Elliott absolutely dominated and beat Alabama. The next year, we have the same team basically coming back with Ezekiel Elliott, Cardell Jones, J.T. Barrett. We had, what's-his-face, Joey Bosa on that team, and Michigan State beat us late in the year, and they knocked us out of the playoff. So that team was good. But this year, I think the Buckeyes, they'll be ready for the SEC Challenger in the playoff. The question is, can we get past our road games at Penn State and at Michigan State? As an Ohio State fan, I just don't know if we can win both of those and play and beat Michigan. I'm not sure if we can pull that off.
Well, I think you're crazy. I think you're nuts. I'm an SEC homer. I think last year with 2 SEC teams getting into the playoffs, I think that opened up the door. Because Alabama won, that opened up the door for it to happen again. And I tell you what, there isn't another conference that has a chance, I believe, to get 2 teams in the playoffs. I think we could see another scenario with 2 more SEC teams. I doubt it, but the scenario is there. Georgia's up. Do you realize that Georgia just overtook Alabama for the #1 spot in recruiting for 2019? They're coming off of a #1 recruiting class last year, and Georgia's going up fast like a rocket. And I don't know what's going on with Alabama. There's a lot of unknowns with Alabama going on right now with their quarterback, but their quarterback that only had a 1 meaningful half is leading Vegas for the odds-on favorite for the Heisman Trophy. So somebody thinks he's good. I'm not so sure about it, but Hey, I just posted the number up there, guys. The number's, let me get it up here. 855-489-7623. I don't know how this is going to work, but if anybody wants to jump on there and talk to Paul Jamison, the Ohio State fan, call in. I got a call screener, and let's see if I can figure this out. I've got limited internet here, so while we're waiting on a caller, looks like we got a caller here.
This is Uncle Lou here.
Hi, Uncle Lou.
On there to Big Ten Homer.
Yes,
Hey,
you're on with the Big Ten Homer. Let them have it, Uncle Lou.
Look here, man. Quit crying about the playoff committee did this and the playoff committee did that, putting 2 SEC teams in. Don't give up 55 points to Iowa. I mean, how hard is that, sir? Don't give up 55 points to Iowa. Don't lose to another playoff team at home in Oklahoma and then sit home on the couch and cry while you watch Georgia travel 3,000 miles and beat the shit out of them. And now you sitting over here crying 6 months later, Ohio State got screwed 2 years ago. We got shut out in the playoff, and then this year the committee was mean and wouldn't put us in, and we had to watch 2 SEC teams get into playoffs. Yeah, both the SEC teams won their first round games against the other playoff teams and played for the title, but still not fair. Hashtag me too.
Well, Uncle Lou, the year that we got blown out by Clemson, can you hear me, Uncle Lou?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. We weren't that good that year. We were having an off year and we still got in. But that year before that, when we had Joey Bosa, Ezekiel Elliott, all those guys, they snubbed us out of the playoff that year, too. We've been snubbed out in that fifth slot a few times. But listen, Uncle Lou, I just saying the Buckeyes this year are going to be pretty good.
With what coach, sir? What are you paying Urban Meyer? What are you paying Urban Meyer $8 million a year for if it doesn't matter whether or not he's on the sideline?
No, he's a good coach. I don't know if you heard me earlier in the show. I'm very skeptical of him off the field, but he is a good coach on the field. But Kevin Wilson, our offensive coordinator, he coached at Indiana and really turned their offense around. And then Day, our other co-offensive coordinator, I mean, he got all kind of offers down in SEC country.
Okay. Now, what about Ohio State's going to have the best offense in America with a quarterback that's never played before? If this guy's so good, why did he sit behind J.T. Barrett for 19 years?
That's because the Urban Meyer and J.T. Barrett had they had something funny going on.
But Urban Meyer's a great coach, though. So this great coach couldn't see that J.T. Barrett couldn't hit the ocean from the beach? I mean, congratulations. He played good against Penn State last year. Where was he in the Iowa game? Can he play defense? 55 points to Iowa? Really? Iowa doesn't score 55 points in any 3-week average.
Right. I understand what you're saying, but
then Ohio State didn't get screwed last year. Ohio State lost at home to a playoff team, and Ohio State gave up 55 points in a loss to Iowa. That team does not deserve to get off over one loss to Alabama.
Uncle Lou, we're not having this. This is 2018. We're not arguing about the playoffs last year, but about this year.
Oh well, you the one that brought it up a few minutes ago. That's why I had to call in. Yeah, I took half a bottle of blood pressure medicine listening to you cry about the SEC getting 2 teams.
Listen, Uncle Lou. Our quarterback last year, we were at Ann Arbor playing Michigan, losing. J.T. Barrett gets hurt, and Haskins comes in, calm as can be in the big game, and leads the Buckeyes back. He played absolutely huge.
He did.
And this guy can.
Yeah, and still played great in the second half of the title game. But hey, but let me ask you.
Good. Alabama quarterback.
Yeah, he's good for one half, same as Haskins. Good for one half. But let me ask you this though. So everybody agrees the SEC was. I mean, I'm sure you would agree. Forget the last 2 years if you want to. Okay, for the sake of argument, what was the best conference from 2008 to 2015? What was the best conference, top to bottom?
I'll give you that. Uncle Lou, listen to this.
Okay. SEC. I need to finish this here. Okay, SEC. And in those years, how many times did the SEC play for or win the national title out of that 10-year period?
I do not know.
but almost every single time. If the Big Ten is the best conference the last 2 years, where are they? Why aren't they there? The SEC was the best conference. The competition was brutal. But we still managed to get a team good enough every single year to navigate that schedule and make it to the BCS title game or the playoff and win it. If the Big Ten is the best conference, why can't one team rise above the rest like somebody did in the SEC every single year for 8 years in a row when we won 8 straight national titles? Why can't somebody in the Big Ten do that?
Well, I mean, Buckeyes, we were there in 2002. No one gave us a chance against Miami, Uncle Lou. Jim Tressel and the boys shocked the world and won it. Won that national championship. We were back.
Well, the referees won that. Yep, the referees
won that. You watch that replay, Uncle. Listen, let me say 2 things.
You can't call no nitpicky pass interference on the final play of a national championship game. The referees won that.
There was a play in regulation. I want to share this, Catfish, because it makes me so mad. There was a play in regulation. I believe it was 3rd down, and we completed a pass that would have run the clock out. We could have just nailed it, all 3 downs, and the clock would have expired. And they called him out of bounds, and he was clearly in bounds. And so that game should have never went to overtime. If you want to call about the rest, the rest would have called that a completion. The time would have ran out. We would have just nailed it and won. So that game should have never went to overtime. We ended up having to punt the ball because they called it incomplete, and they gave time to Miami. And they came back, hit the game-tying field goal as time expired. And then in overtime, if you watch it and freeze it, then Miami's guy was clearly holding our wide receiver in the corner of that end zone. I think it's Chris Campbell who got hurt. But Uncle Lou, something you don't know about me, I live right on 316. I'm a hop, skip, and a jump down from Athens. I live in SEC country. I respect the SEC. I'm just saying Ohio State, if they get in the playoffs, they can beat Georgia, they can beat Alabama. I fear Georgia more than Alabama, to be honest, this upcoming.
Yeah, Ohio State thought they could beat Georgia in 1992 too, but they didn't. Never have. And Ohio State's record against the SEC is worse than Kentucky's. You're 5-12 against the SEC. I mean, it's absolutely pitiful. 2 bowl wins or something like that. Don't give me the line either about how many times you beat Texas A&M and Missouri when they were in the Big 12 to try to make it look like you beat the SEC more times than you have. Your record against the SEC is abysmal. The only thing that makes me madder than what you said about the SEC getting 2 teams in is how calm you are when you talk. You should be a lot madder. You not being mad is making me even madder.
What do you want me to be mad about?
I don't know.
Well,
I'll say something else. Now I done forgot.
You're getting old like me, Uncle Lou.
Yeah, the sweater vest, yeah. We're going to get back in the Wayback Machine, talking about 2002, Jim Tressel, the sweater vest. He got fired for lying about tattoos. Now you got Urban Meyer getting fired for lying about his assistant coach tattoos of his wife.
Let me defend Jim Tressel. I've had many friends who played for the Buckeyes. Jim Tressel, that guy had integrity. He had honesty. He got a really bad rap by the national media. My personal friend was his secretary. I asked her, I said, what dirt you got on Jim Tressel? Because she also secretary for Urban Meyer, and I don't want to publicly go on YouTube Live and throw my friends under the bus, but they tell me in private. I'm not going to share anything she's telling me about Urban Meyer, but I know a lot about Urban Meyer. All she had to say about Jim Tressel, the worst thing the guy does is it's bad. Your point was he's a good guy. If he'd suck on his cigar. The guy treated everyone with respect. He was honest.
Yeah.
In that circumstance, the authorities were doing a gigantic drug bust at this sketchy drug dealing tattoo parlor, and Terrell Pryor was a thug, and these other guys, they're selling their memorabilia to get tattoos and some cash and all this stuff. So the authorities tell Jim Tressel, hey, we're doing a big drug bust, and we find your guys are hanging out where they shouldn't be. Just don't say nothing until after we make our bust. And so Jim Tressel's in this predicament. Do I honor the FBI and these authorities and just don't say anything until after the drug bust, or do I go and tattletale and do jump through all the NCAA hoops and then interfere with this big bust? Because then once he tells them and it goes national media, I mean, the whole thing's going to fall apart. So it wasn't a blatant. He was sitting there, oh, how can I deceive everyone? He was in a situation, and I really wish Tressel is still our coach. He's not a bad guy. Urban Meyer, and I say this as an Ohio State fan. I mean, the guy's got some sketchy things on his resume that you can't overlook. And I'm an Ohio State fan, and I'll admit that. But don't put.
Well, when people make millions of dollars, a year, it's no surprise to me that they find themselves in situations where they have to make tough decisions. Not very tough decisions.
Right, but don't compare Jim Tressel and Urban Meyer's character. Jim Tressel's character.
No, I'm not comparing them. Not comparing them. Obviously, Meyer, a lot worse. Human trash can, piece of garbage. Fake heart condition, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, good luck to your Ohio State Buckeyes this year. Lord knows you need it. $8 million a year to have no coach. But hey, you got Shiano. He doesn't know anything about what's going on around him either, so he should fit right in at Ohio State. Catfish, I love the show. Have a great day, and I got to go take some Xanax.
All right, thanks, Uncle Lou.
Have fun playing those video games, Uncle Lou.
Are you still there, Paul?
I'm still here. I gotta get a shower. I gotta eat dinner. We got any other calls coming in?
No, I'm gonna cut this short. Catfish has got to get trucking, Paul. I appreciate you coming on. I didn't know you was going to get ambushed like that, but you know, Uncle Lou's pretty passionate about his stuff, and I appreciate you calling in. Thanks, buddy.
All right, now let me get some of these SEC fans over to my channel. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers.
Yes, everybody go search up Paul Jamison, and if you want to trash talk him, go over there. I'll put a link to his channel in the description, but I think if you hit Paul Jamison, it'll come up. He's got a lot of Ohio State and Cleveland Cavalier videos.
And we got a new podcast out called the Buckeye Boys.
Yep.
We'll talk all about the Big Ten, all about Ohio State football, all about the Big Ten. It's called the Buckeye Boys. We'll be launching our first episode right around week 1, and then we'll follow our Buckeyes throughout the season. Hopefully to the playoffs. Hopefully we'll get to play an SEC team, and I can't wait until Weber and Dobbins run all over them.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, Paul, and you have a good one, and thanks for calling in.
All right. Love your show.
Thank you, buddy.
Be careful out there on the road.
I will. Thank you. We got time for, let's say, one more call.
Yes, me anything.
You're on with Catfish. What's on your mind?
It's Bobby Durkins here. How you doing today?
Bobby Durkins! Did you hear that?
How you doing?
Did you hear that hoopla? What did you think?
What? I did. Here's what it looked like. Here's what it sounded like to me. It was like when they take that person in your family who's real special, and that's with quotations, you know, they got 4 or 5 extra strings on, and they gather the family around the table and they say, watch them draw this circle. That's what that was like.
What you saying? They both had a couple extra chromosomes. Don't be messing with Uncle Lou now. He's my boy.
I'll leave Uncle Lou alone. Uncle Lou would drive up here and stab me. I know that. So I won't say that. No, here's the deal about Ohio State. I understand pulling from team. I understand the represent your team. I know, you know, it's like going in a restaurant stall, you know, in the rest area, seeing something written bad about your mama. You want to find whoever wrote it, defend their honor. At the end of the day, I'm not the one who lost 31-0 to Clemson in the first round of the playoffs a couple of years ago. I'm not the one who lost 38-0 to Alabama in the first round of the playoffs a couple of years ago. I'm not the team who lost 55-24 last year to Iowa. Now, I know my one score named out was Michigan State. All I'm saying is, I'm sorry, Big Ten, if we do not take you serious. If you want to stop making fun of how ugly you are, go lose some weight and get some surgery, and everything will be fine from there.
So what's going on at the Durkins house? How's Bobby Durkins Jr. doing? Is he minding his mama?
Hey, I tell you that boy right there, he's good. He's good. It's the small one that I've got probably Bob Durkins Jr. is young, and he's just Lord. He just... I don't know what to do. What do you do to a 2.5-year-old who can get in and out of everything? Climb over everything. The other day I walked out there. I mean, he was, jumped up in my car. I mean, I don't know what you do. But it's a good night here. We're counting on football season, the Lord's time. You know what I say? And I say some videos. I say it to you right in front of everybody. We are in God's country, my friend, where Jesus is Lord and football is king and catfish. You and I are the preachers preaching the good news. So are you going that West Virginia Tennessee game?
I'm not going to it, but I'll more than likely at least listen to it on the radio. I'm going to try to watch it on TV, but I got to keep these wheels rolling. And by the way, I just recorded a reaction video for your boy Travis ETN, and pretty impressive. I'm going to be posting that tomorrow.
No way. But that youngin', let me tell you this, that youngin' right there, he's crazy good. I mean, he's crazy good because he'll run over you, he'll hit you, and then take one step, and he's gone. He's blistered everybody. He's so fast, he's outrunning. I mean, the angles people are taking on, he's outrunning them. Well, I tell you, I appreciate that. Appreciate you taking my call and everything. Small ball, it's good talking to you, but never talked to you before. But I'll tell you right now, I think about carrying kids up there to West Virginia at Tennessee game. Might take them downtown Charlotte, let them throw some rocks at the homeless, carry them on over there to the game, maybe get in a fight or something. It's precious memories. These are precious times we'll deal with the youngins, But anyway, well, listen, buddy, I'm proud of you. You're killing it. You're doing great. We love the show. Everybody loves the show. Me and Pigskin Pete, we love the show. And y'all just keep doing what you're doing. Stay safe out there, brother.
Well, I'm going to tell everybody to go sub you up. Go look up Brian Knight. That's Bobby Durkins and Pigskin Pete, Uncle Lou.
Yeah.
There's Crazy Vol. There's Vol Rising. So go look all these guys up and sub them. They're trying real hard. And I'm going to have to get out of here. And Small Vol's back in the studio. He's going to shut it down the call board. And I'm going to get rolling. Everybody check us out on social media. All that stuff's down in the description. And don't forget to check out my fishing trip you can win. The tickets are $5 each with a 2-ticket minimum, and I've only sold 30 of them, and we're going fishing with Tennessee River Monsters, and they're a professional guide service on the Tennessee River, and they catch some monster catfish. We're going the Friday before the Florida game. That's September 21st. So email me at volunteerroadshow@gmail for your tickets, and I'll send you a PayPal invoice. And thanks, Bobby. Thanks, Uncle Lou. Thanks, Paul. Thanks to all my great listeners, all the great viewers. I'm going to try to do this every Friday, and hopefully I'll get all the bugs worked out by football season. So thank you, Bobby. Thank you, everybody, and adios.